we have Robert Christian Minson, The Rocky Road Toward Trust. The Rocky Road Toward Trust, Robert Christian Minson.
Have you ever heard anyone say, I'd be such a happier person, only I hadn't believed in myself so much? Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? And yet, how many times do we undermine our own inner wisdom by placing our faith in someone or something external to us? That inner wisdom is like a road with markers. Markers that help direct us back on course when we get a little off, if we're willing to pay attention. Well, my attention was on the beautiful Rocky Mountains one summer in a road trip through Colorado. The majestic mountains, graceful in their grandeur, but potentially deadly for those unskilled at their navigation. Well, I had two tools of navigation at my disposal. First, my GPS, Global Positioning System, and then my GCS, Gut Check System. Well, seeing as I had such implicit faith on that little magic box, I left the other one offline that fateful day. Well, the GPS charted my course from Aspen, Colorado to Crested Butte, over some of the taller peaks of the Rockies, through a mountain pass called Pearl Pass, to get to the other side in what it said would be a little over 2 hours. So I started driving on the road. I called my contact in Crested Butte. I said, the GPS is sending me over Pearl Pass. I'll be there in 2 hours. She said, Pearl Pass, in a concerned tone. I'm not sure you wanna... Silence. The mountains had blocked the phone signal. Well, I wonder what she was gonna say, I thought to myself. But the next thought, since my gut was offline, was, I guess it doesn't matter that much. And onward I went, blasting through the first warning marker on that road of inner wisdom, blissful ignorance. The GPS chimed in. In 200 meters, turn right. That would sound so self-assured, wouldn't it? But obediently, right I turned onto a 2-lane dirt road that was going right down the middle of a campground. Interesting, I thought, but kept on driving. Miles after leaving the campground, the dirt turns to rocks, and the 2 lanes shrink down to 1. Again, I thought, this is kind of strange for a mountain pass road. What if somebody's coming from the other direction? How are we going to pass each other? And by the way, how come I haven't seen anybody coming from the other direction? But despite these questions, I persevered on, right through the second marker. Illogical choices in the face of contrary evidence. Well, the terrain got slower, steeper, more rocky, and definitely more treacherous, which propelled me through the third marker, delusional optimism. I'm on an adventure, a Rocky Mountain backwoods adventure in my 4-wheel drive Jeep Grand Cherokee, luxury edition. However, the terrain didn't improve, and in fact it got worse, which then I muscled through marker number 4. Ego justification. I'm not gonna quit. A Minson never quits. Heck, I got a 4-wheel drive Jeep Grand Cherokee, luxury edition. So onward I went to meet my next terrain challenge, which I describe as a kind of mountain cliff scenario. Sheer wall on one side, sheer drop on the other, with a path only inches wider than the vehicle to now navigate the rather bouldery terrain. Well, I thought maybe it's a good time to check in with my gut and see if it has anything useful to say. Hello? What? You checking in with me now? You want my opinion now? I'll give you my opinion. pedaled through marker number 5. Obligated commitment to an ideal you no longer believe in. Well, the next surprise stopped me dead in my tracks. As I rounded a corner slowly, I encountered a river. Not going across the road, but coming straight down the road, and about 1.5 feet deep. Well, at this point, I had to concede that my gut was right. I stood a better chance of surviving by trying to turn around than by continuing on up that mountain. So for the next better part of an hour, I engaged in a grueling 100-point turn. Going 3 inches backwards. Dear Lord, don't let me fall off this cliff. 3 inches forward. Did I tell you I'm thinking of going back to church? 3 inches backwards. I want my mommy. Turn forward, turn backward, forward, backward. Until I finally got that car pointed down the hill. Just then the GPS chimes in. Make a U-turn and proceed on your programmed route. In a fed-up fit of rage, I grabbed that box and I chucked it out into the ravine as far as I could throw it. Burst into 1,000 pieces on the rocks below. Wow, that was satisfying. Well, I'm happy to say that I made it down that mountain in one piece, and I learned my lesson to trust my inner guidance. But how about you? Is there somewhere on that road of inner wisdom where you're ignoring the markers, signaling you to maybe correct your course a little, or maybe a lot? Trust yourself. Turn on that superior navigation technology, the gut check system, and let your GCS guide you. After all, it couldn't be anywhere but the GPS. As the saying goes, to err is human. To really screw up, that takes a computer.